As anyone who's ever made a painting will tell you, it's hard to know sometimes where to actually stop. Well, this is certainly true to some extent, but to my mind, on the sometimes lengthy journey of making a painting, it's what happens at the beginning that's most challenging. Venice is my main source of subject matter these days. As a place to paint, this marvellous city is virtually inexhaustible. Changes of season, weather conditions or time of day will transform the same view in innumerable ways. Autumn is perhaps the most interesting time of year. On clear days, the low sun creates unexpected patterns of light and shade and glances off the surface of the water. Most of my work is made out of doors. I believe that direct and sustained observation is really the only way to get to grips with the subject. And the only way to find subjects is to walk and look. I've chosen to paint the Church of San Giorgio, designed by the great 16th century architect Andrea Palladio. Palladio lived in an era of great painters, and I like to think this is part of the reason why he had such an unerring instinct for pictorial effects. He was very aware of contrasts of value, of texture, of the play of light over surfaces. Above all, he had an understanding of the building as a kind of compositional focal point in the surrounding space. I've decided to paint this island church looking against the light. These sorts of subjects have always appealed to me, partly because of the dramatic effect, and partly because of the abstract character of the silhouetted forms. More than anything else, I want this on-the-spot study to contain as much information about the scene as I can. Not so much details, I can fill those in later, but the main relationships of tone and colour. I suppose what I'd like to take away is something of the experience of being here, the atmosphere and the sense of visual discovery as I look closely at the scene. Of course, it's important to work with some haste, as the light changes so rapidly at this time of day. Now that I've gathered the essential information in my oil sketch, I can begin to construct a larger, more considered interpretation of the subject in the studio. After applying a ground colour to the canvas, I then draw a grid so that I can transfer the design. I've also made some preparatory watercolour studies. At one point I considered adding some large figures, but then thought better of it, as I wanted the emphasis in this painting to be on those essentially Venetian elements of light, atmosphere, water and architecture. It's now that I can think carefully about the composition on my canvas, of shapes and the intervals between them. I'd like to be able to bring something of the formal rhythms and relation of volume to space of this wonderful Palladian building to the design of my painting. I've returned to my studio in Brisbane. Everything is ready to go. Though all this preparation makes me slightly anxious about the moment of application of the paint. I think at this stage it's best just to plunge in and to put down some of the fundamental relationships. In this picture, the most important of these is between the sky and the water. One of the benefits of making so much preparation is that I'm hoping there won't be too much reworking of the image. I don't want the surface to become tired and overworked. So, is my painting finished? I think in the end you just kind of reach a point where you feel that there's nothing more you can really add to it to improve it. Painting to me is like a kind of seamless process. One painting naturally leads to the next, in the hope that sooner or later something worthwhile will emerge. And there is always something more just around the corner in Venice.